Well, is this working now? Honestly, I keep hitting the button and nothing happens, and then it goes blinky, 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 and goes away. Anyway, howdy, I'm Grey Pilgrim. Well, recently I was on YouTube and I was watching a video by a guy named Mike Bellevue. His channel is called the Dualst1954, and I strongly suggest watching it and subscribing to it. He is a wealth of knowledge. He's one of the old school gun writers for gun magazines back in the day. Specifically, he used to write a lot of articles about black powder guns, and he's done a lot of work on black powder. But he's also into other things, including modern guns, revolvers of various kinds. And on the subject of revolvers, recently he's did a series on the guns of the U.S. Border Patrol, which are all mainly revolvers. And that made me think of this. This is a Smith & Wesson 38 that I got. It has a tail with it, too. This is actually a Trooper Special. I don't know the exact model of the thing. I went to look it up. Any other gun other than Smith & Wesson, and you look it up online, you go, oh, look at that, it's a Savage, or it's a Winchester, or it's a Colt. Oh, here's a serial number lookup. You plug in your serial number, and blip, 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 blip. The thing just looks through it, and zip, there it is. That's the one you've got. I've looked up Colts, old Colts. Heck, I've got a new model Series 1 up there. Looked it up. They found it. Smith & Wesson, not so much. I don't know if it's, I don't know what it is at Smith & Wesson, but they don't have it. But I did find that there's a book you can get. So I just put out an order on a book search for a book called, oh heck, I forgot the title of it, but it's $30, and it'll be here in probably a few weeks. And I can learn about it. Anyway, what I want to learn about is this. This is a police special, 38 special. I don't know. It's a police positive or police this or something. I know how old it is, or approximately, because this was owned, the Dualist, Mike, he made me think of this. This was owned by a sheriff, not exactly a sheriff, a town marshal here in Oregon at a small town. And he had this on his belt for 30 some odd years in the business, and he died a while back. And I called that town, and I got a hold of their city hall and I was talking to some gal there, and she put another gal on the phone and says, "Yeah, I'm his granddaughter." And I went, "Oh, really? Oh, how long ago did he die?" Well, turns out he died in the early 70s, and that means that he was doing this business from, the 40s on? Yeah, 1940s on. Well, this is his the rig that he used to wear. And it's interesting because it's got this interesting little metal tab on it. And the way it works is you put the gun in, and it doesn't come out unless you personally grab right here. Let's see if I can figure it out. Yeah, it has to be on your belt, and you on your right side or left side, I forget. Oh, yeah, you got to push this button. There's a little button in there you got to push, and it holds it in place so that your perp is not going to take it out of your holster. He also it came with these, which are extra ammo pouches that would sit on the belt, and all of these were loaded full of rounds when I got it. And every one of those rounds was just old, corroded, green, verdigris all over them. They were just falling apart. And those things were, they'd been there forever. And from what his granddaughter told me, she said that he never pulled this gun out ever in all of his days working as a marshal. I know his name. I'm not going to mention it, but I know his name. But she says he used to have to deal with rowdies every now and then, vagrants, drunks, things like that. And his way of dealing with them, he had a Kosh. This was also on the belt when I got it. This is it's leather, and it has lead shot in here. And this is something that, was used a lot by small town cops way back. now considered a total no-no, but it's well, it's a common tool. Seems that all the fellows that got picked up that were a little less than sociable about being thrown into the Who Scout ended up with slight head injuries from something that they suffered. Don't know exactly how that happened, but this was a typical police revolver of that era, and I think it's kind of cool myself. You know, it's an old thing, and it's been there and back again, but it's hardly ever been shot. Matter of fact, just looking at it, it has all the bluing on it, but this is probably a 1930s or 1940s vintage Smith & Wesson. And when I get that book, I'll find out exactly what date it is. I've got the serial number. I've also got the number from the yoke, which I found is not the serial number. That's the one of the things they used in the factory to keep the parts all together. I don't know much else about it other than, you know, the fellow who had it and had a very pleasant chat with his relative, and the lady I talked to was quite elderly. So that tells me she's his granddaughter and she's kind of elderly. So, that says it right there. So this is from about 2 generations back or so. Kind of cool. A little bit of Oregon history. You know, something that you know, I've got his business card that goes with this, and I'll put that with it just so that anybody else who picks up after me, they can say, "Oh, son of a gun, I know that," or "I know who it is, I know where it is." I'll also, when I find out the friggin' serial number and what model it is, I'll put the model number and the year it was made, and I'll put that down in the holster so that any future historian looking at it can use that information and hopefully take it beyond whatever I found out about it. Anyway, nothing special, just something that interests me. You know, a look at your typical Andy Griffith from the back in the day. You know, turns out that these guys did carry around a pistol or a revolver, but they didn't ever pull it out. They just never had a need to show off their gun, I guess. You know, 30 years without having to do that. Kind of strange given these days when, you know, drug cartels and gangs and nasty people right and left are out there just doing ne'er-do-well things on our culture. Back then we had men that we could respect who were maintaining the law, it seems. I guess there was something about those days that was worthwhile. Well, nothing much to really talk about. Anyway, happy trails.